Yes, my style. Yes, yes. Oh, yes. I did love Lily's style in this movie. Once you see the movie, you understand her style, her fashion sense. Style is like storytelling to me, so it's very important. Fashion to me is important. Weren't those beautiful Louis Vuitton boots? Yes, I just want to say those were from my closet. As a matter of fact, a lot of the styles that I wore in the movie was straight from my closet, and some of it I borrowed from my friend Gigi. Also, I wore a lot of Ryan's clothes, and I wore his socks all the time. Oh, the rings? Yes, the rings to me are like my comfort. A very expensive comfort, So I like to stack it all up. I think I'm wearing maybe $6 million worth of jewelry. Uh, Everything was personally picked from me, okay? I didn't need it. Everything about me just screams fashion. And this is why I say, when you get me in a movie, you get all of me, Not just
Hello, beautiful people. It's Sindafam. Welcome to the channel. Today, we're back again with another video. And still on the Blake Lively and the Justin Baldoni situation, we're going to be checking a couple of videos. It's no news, new video evidence of footage has been released, and Blake Lively has responded regarding the video footage. So, we're going to be checking this or from a couple of TikTok creators what they've got to say regarding Blake Lively's statement. Let's check it out.
Apparently, Blake Lively is now saying that she's happy that the footage was released because it shows that she was uncomfortable. Like, is she actually delusional? Because that is just, not at all what I saw. Like, she looked fine. She was giving directions as a director. If anything, maybe she was unhappy that he didn't want to take her directions. But, uncomfortable? Not at all. And she was speaking her mind. So, if she was, I think she probably would have said that. Does anybody else think that that's just, absolutely delusional? And, seeing Taylor Swift kind of, release it, I think, inadvertently release a statement. I know it wasn't directly Taylor Swift, it, came from sources, but it felt like she was trying to distance herself from the situation, being like, oh, I was, stopping by to see my friend, and they were, finishing up their meeting. I wasn't intending to be there. Distancing. Everyone knows, this makes Blake look delusional. It's not good for her. She needs to settle. She needs to settle. A public opinion, not on her side, and the footage does not help her. It hurts her. It hurts her.
At this point, I don't see any reason why not to say Blake is not delusional, because did she actually watch the exact same footage, or is there a different one that we saw that she also saw? Because make it make sense. How does this prove her claim? Rather, it doesn't. It shows that, baby girl, you told a lie, obviously.
Justin Baldoni's lawyer is the gift that just keeps on giving. And I appreciate it because a lot of us were fighting for our lives in the comment section when that suit first came out, and saying that there's no way that he has built his career on being a genuine, kind person to other human beings, and to spend 5 years trying to get this made only to be the monster that is portrayed in the book that he's adapting into a movie. And I get it, that what she wrote in abstract seems very convincing, and we do want to believe women and people when they say this thing happened to me. But I've learned, even as a DV victim and someone who has experienced SA, that sometimes you have to ask questions, and it's not believing them just because you ask questions. If you ask what is the context of what happened here, what was the circumstances? You're saying he did this thing, but what was the circumstances? Were you guys acting in a scene where this was supposed to be happening and it became too real for you? Did you say anything about that in that moment to anybody? Were you engaging in a way that made this feel appropriate, and then you decided that it wasn't appropriate? And if so, did you reiterate that, hey, I know that we were just joking around about this, but this feels inappropriate, and I'm not comfortable with this. Can we stop this? That's perfectly fine thing to say, but there's so much more context, and it's okay to ask questions to get the full picture. And in asking questions, sometimes you can understand that someone read a situation wrong and blew it out of proportion, or something might have happened that they didn't even realize was actually bad because they dismissed it. So it's good to ask questions, because you can either prove their case and validate their feelings, or figure out if it was a misunderstanding or if they're lying. So yeah, just keep dropping the things, lawyer man. You are doing work.
Absolutely, what she said. It is good to ask questions. Asking questions doesn't disprove or doesn't mean that you disbelieve the person. You want to know, because it's people tell lies, and so really people can misinterpret on, and in this case lots of things were taken out of context, which is true. But I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know the level of Delulu we are seeing here coming from Blake. Like, what do you think?
I wish I was as delusional as Blake Lively. The delusion is astronomical. Like, the delusion is on another planet, this girl. This girl had the audacity to say that she is ecstatic that Justin Baldoni released the video footage because it proves her point. It's proving the point in the room with us. You watch the same video as us. Blake Lively's delusions literally need to be studied in a lab. Because the video that we saw, it shows that you are guilty. Guilty on all charges. Girlie, you do not look innocent in this. You look like a fraud. Like, your entire story that you collabed with the New York Times, it's giving fraudulent. Because the video footage that he showed us the polar opposite. There was no flirtation. The reason that he said that you smelled good was only because you said that you had a spray tan. Like, Blake Lively's the person, like, if you look at her, he's like, oh my gosh, they like me. They're in love with me. They want to marry me. I'm pretty sure that is her delusions mindset. On top of that, Justin Baldoni rested his nose on her, and he's like, oh, sorry, my nose got in the way. She's like, you know, you can call a doctor and look up some insurance. The audacity.
Absolutely. The level of delusion we are seeing from Blake it needs to be studied, because I want to believe it was the exact same video footage that we saw that she is talking about and trying to say it proves her claim. Are you serious? Make it make sense.
Blake Lively is thrilled that Justin Baldoni released this footage. Yes, you heard that correctly. Allow me to explain. Blake Lively says she is thrilled that Justin Baldoni released this footage because it proves her point, that she was visibly uncomfortable with Baldoni's advances during the scene. Blake's legal team tells TMZ Justin Baldoni and his lawyer may hope that this latest stunt will get ahead of the damaging evidence against him, but the video itself is damning. Every frame of the released footage corroborates to the letter what Miss Lively described in paragraph 48 of her complaint. The video shows Mr. Baldoni repeatedly leaning in toward Miss Lively, attempting to kiss her, kissing her forehead, rubbing his face and mouth against her neck, flicking her lip with his thumb, caressing her, telling her how good she smells, and talking with her out of character. While it might seem like they were merely actors acting out a scene that's supposed to depict them falling in love, Blake's team points out none of the intimacy was discussed or choreographed. As they put it, every moment of this was improvised by Mr. Baldoni with no discussion or consent in advance and no intimacy coordinator present. Mr. Baldoni was not only Miss Lively's co-star, but the director, the head of studio, and Miss Lively's boss. Blake leaning away from Justin in the scene was not acting. According to her lawyers, they say the video shows Miss Lively leaning away and repeatedly asking for the characters to just talk. Any woman who has been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Miss Lively's discomfort. They will recognize her attempts at levity to try to deflect the unwanted touching. No woman should have to take defensive measures to avoid being touched by their employer without their consent. Her team is also saying that he and his team are pulling out all the stops to try to overwhelm the public's ability to understand that what they are doing is retaliation against sexual harassment allegations. Blake's lawyer tells us releasing this video to the media rather than presenting it as evidence in court is another example of an unethical attempt to manipulate the public. It is also a continuation of their harassment and retaliatory campaign. While they are focused on misleading media narratives, we are focused on the legal process. We are continuing our efforts to require Mr. Baldoni and his associates to answer in court under oath rather than through manufactured media stunts. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but apparently his attorney said he's creating a website to put up all the evidence for the public to see. Look, I know what we all saw here. We saw that she's talking. She's saying it's romantic to talk. Her lawsuit said that they weren't supposed to be talking, so it does contradict what she says. Playing devil's advocate, she could have been uncomfortable but said nothing because there are people on set, they're in the middle of filming, and she had no idea he was going to do the things that he was doing. On the other hand, maybe he didn't know she was uncomfortable. Maybe he was playing into the character. Or maybe he did know. Who knows? All I know is I will continue updating you guys with anything that comes up.
You know what's interesting? This is gaslighting with capital letter G behind. Gaslighting Pro Max. We know what we saw in the video footage, and saying you like overwhelm the public. Are you kidding me? Which part of it? Like, she was the one who initiated the talking. If you've not seen the 10 minutes clip, it's on my channel. I linked it, and I'm gonna make sure I put it down in the comments or in a pinned comment for you to go check it out. For those who haven't seen the 10 minutes, maybe they are just saying it maybe because there were 2 minutes clip somewhere that was circulating and all that. You would see the 10 minutes clip from where she initiated the talking. Blake Lively was Blake in this scene. Justin Baldoni was Raul and the director. There was you can see that we're actually looking for Lily Bloom in this situation. We can't find Lily Bloom. So which part of this is Gaslighting Pro Max? Let me know what you think.
This is how I can tell that Blake Lively is just a certified liar and that she is really drinking the Kool-Aid in her delusion of grandeur. If all of this happened in the first page of her CRD complaint and New York lawsuit, she stated that there were witnesses. Okay, just like Brian Friedman has been dropping receipts to contradict everything that she's saying, where's the witness statement that says, yeah, I saw this happen on this date at this time? Because these little stupid ass statements where she's quoting Darvo, which, my love, y'all were not in a sexual relationship. All it's telling me is you fell for him and it didn't go your way. Because if you're throwing Darvo into the mix, that is only applicable to intimate partner violence. Y'all were co-workers, number one. Number two, stated in your New York lawsuit, as well as your CRD complaint, that there were witnesses who saw all of this happen. Well, bring them forward. Let me hear their testimony. Because in that video, there were a lot of people around you. Lots. So how are you being sexually harassed in a room full of people? What? Make it make sense. Really solidifies her delusion of grandeur is the fact that she really did come out with an official statement talking about, yeah, I'm glad that the video got released so you can clearly see how uncomfortable I am. How is you cool? Are you okay? Do you not realize that that video had audio? We can hear you talk about your husband. We can read what you were saying to Justin. It really solidifies what I've been saying for the last 4 weeks. Yo ass can't act for shit. What you need to do is fire your PR and hire an acting coach. Her ego and her hubris is really going to be her downfall. Brian Freeman making the announcement that they're going to publish a website in the coming days has a double entendre. Number one, it is for us to see everything in full transparency. Number two, it is a warning for her to fall the fuck back. Go ahead and settle. Run them their money and a very public apology. Because cases like hers in the past has always settled out of court. But I guess she is willing to die on that hill because her ego will not let her submit. But okay, I'm here for it. I will continue to, speak on this topic. Let the circus begin.
You know what doesn't make sense to me is the fact that she saw what we saw, or everybody saw what we saw. So which part of it is undermining the public's opinion? Like, it's not even making sense to me. If this is not delusional or delusion pro max, I don't know what to say, or gaslighting pro max, I don't know what to say. But obviously we saw what we saw. She obviously cannot act. She obviously wasn't in character. She was herself. We can't find Lily Blooms in that footage. Let me know if you find Lily Blooms in that footage though.
I don't want to hear any of this. Oh, it's giving. What were you wearing? You were asking for it in the comments, okay? I hate that this bitch is making me defend a man. Sometimes people lie. Sometimes it's not. There's your truth, my truth, and the reality is somewhere in the middle. Sometimes people bold-face lie. Oftentimes when they feel they are backed into a corner. Well, this doesn't change that most women who report sexual assault or harassment are telling the truth. So much so that I hope to God it remains everyone's first inclination. So much so that I hope to God that it remains lots of people's first inclination to believe these women when they come forward and want to protect them. At least give them the benefit of the doubt, which I very much gave Blake. But she is telling us that what we're seeing with our own two eyes is not what we're seeing. She's telling us that she was uncomfortable during that clip. And she very well might have been. But her discomfort doesn't automatically mean that something was perpetrated against her. And if she showed no outward appearance, she didn't verbalize this discomfort, how is anyone supposed to fucking know? Because if that was her uncomfortable in that clip, that bitch was clearly not properly socialized as a child. If so,
her saying, or people saying she's uncomfortable on the clip. If she's uncomfortable there, she has mouth. I don't see any parts where she was being forced not to say nothing. She's been talking throughout the scene. So if she was uncomfortable, she could have said so. So which part of it is reading she is uncomfortable? I see her being so comfortable, because look at the way she was giggling. Do you giggle as somebody you are uncomfortable with, or did you giggle like that, or do you giggle like that when you're around, or when you're uncomfortable around somebody? Like, make it make sense. I want to believe that it is the exact same clip we saw that they are talking about, because it's not making sense.
I can't believe that it's gotten worse, but she has made a statement since that footage came out. Let me get a drink. Okay, so apparently she's made a statement, and it's something along the lines, I'll read it in just a second, but it's, the gist that I've gotten is that it's along the lines of she's ecstatic that this footage has come out because it proves her point. It proves her point? Did we watch the same video? Did her attorney, did we watch the same video? Because I'm pretty sure that that video does not solidify her point. Let me read this whole statement. Justin Baldoni and his lawyer may hope that this latest stunt will get ahead of the damaging evidence against him, but the video itself is damning. Every frame of the released footage corroborates to the letter what Ms. Lively described in paragraph 48 of her complaint. The video shows Mr. Baldoni repeatedly leaning in towards Ms. Lively, attempting to kiss her, kissing her forehead, rubbing his face and neck against her neck. she's describing him being in character, so they're upset that he released footage of him showing a scene that they're supposed to be acting in, that Blake is now accusing him of SH for. The statement continues, good lord. Every moment of this was improvised by Mr. Baldoni with no discussion or consent in advance and no intimacy coordinator present. Mr. Baldoni was not only Miss Lively's co-star, but the director, the head of the studio, and Miss Lively's boss. And they were acting in a scene together. What does Miss Lively not understand about that? I don't think Blake knows how to do her job. I don't think she knows how to be an actress. What are your thoughts?
This just proves the point that Blake is not a good actress. She don't know her job. She can't act in a movie. It is just obvious because all we see there is Blake. We don't see Lily Bloom. And mind you, she was the one that started the conversation. She said, let them talk. It was supposed to be a silent, intimate moment and scene. Just in case you've not seen the 10 minutes clip, it's on the channel. I'm going to make sure to link it in the description or in the comments below, or pin it or link it in the cards for you to go check it from the beginning, because I want to believe they will just taking only parts to say, oh, it was Justin that initiated the talk. It was Blake that initiated the talk. I saw what I saw. This gaslighting is on the next level, or this delusion is on the next level. Let me know what you think.
Hello and welcome back. This is true! Blake Lively's team has responded only about 20 minutes ago to Justin Baldoni dropping the leaked footage now. They say it's all clips that were shot throughout the slow dance montage, just disproving Blake Lively's claim and SH allegations on set. Let the gaslighting begin. If the Darbo statement wasn't enough, here we go. Blake Lively, as with all of her fans and her dragons, are now claiming that this video evidence proves Blake's claim. I'm not sure if we all watched the same thing, but I guess that's what they're claiming. And I quote, "Every moment of this was improvised by Mr. Baldoni with no discussion or consent in advance, and no intimacy coordinator present. Mr. Baldoni was not only Miss Lively's co-star, but the director, the head of the studio, and Miss Lively's boss." They stated Lively leaning away from Baldoni during the scene was not acting according to her legal team. The video shows Miss Lively leaning away and repeatedly asking for the characters to just talk. Any woman who has been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Miss Lively's discomfort. Okay, let's talk about it. But before, it's very important to note that straight away, Brian Freeman, like the boss that he is, Justin Baldoni's team already answered back. And they said that Justin Baldoni and his team have nothing to hide, and that video once more proves this. Justin and the team have the right to defend themselves with the truth, and this is what we will be continuing to show with the upcoming website. So I'm really excited to see all of it, with the upcoming website containing all correspondence as well as relevant videos that directly squash her claims. Okay, let's just get into the video itself, because I did post the 1-minute video. Blake, darling, you say right here that nothing was talked to you ahead of time, nothing was said to you ahead of time, and that he directed everything. Let's roll the clip. They're literally talking through the scene. He's telling her almost kissing is good. That's what he does. The full 10-minute clip is up. It's 9 minutes and 55 seconds, just to be specific. From what I see, honestly, there was no SH. She didn't pull away. Like, they're trying to say that in the video, that's why she pulled away. He spun her. It's a dance move, and then she spun him. I mean, she never said that. She said in her claim that she objected, and then he said, hey, I'm not even that attracted to you. They just showed all of the footage that happened. Those were all the scenes that were apparently shot. I don't see it. Again, as a professional actor, that looks fine. I don't see anything wrong with it. You shouldn't need an intimacy coordinator to do a dance scene. This is all, oh my God, I just feel like this is, it's a reach, girl. It's a reach, Blake. We're all watching the footage. Girl, you are claiming SH. Do you know how serious that is? I don't even know really what to say, because then she claims that he was directing the whole time, the shot, but clearly she was directing the shot. Even at the end when they were doing a shot of their feet, she directs the camera to not cut off her shoes because they're sparkly. Your sparkly Louis Vuittons have nothing to do with It Ends With Us. The more and more that keeps coming out, I mean, when is it going to stop? You know, it's not looking good. And to then say to any woman that has been harassed, they'll know. Because I think most women would agree that if you are being SH'd, you then don't proceed to invite this man into your trailer when you're pumping and you're exposed. You then don't invite this man to your penthouse or wherever you live to write just you two, to rehearse those sexual intimate scenes just you two. You don't allow this man who has harassed you to then hold your baby. You don't sit in him with in editing rooms. You don't continually to message him. You don't, I mean, make it make sense. Where were your complaints to SAG? Where were your complaints to your lawyer? Where were your complaints? Where did you report it? Other than gossiping on set, I would like to know. Bringing up the intimacy coordinator again and or lack of is absolutely absurd. If you are a professional actor, you do not need an intimacy coordinator, I hope, to do a slow dance for a montage shot that took them 20 minutes. I mean, what a reach. And I know everyone's screaming about intimacy coordinators right now, like everyone's worked on set. They're new, right? Like maybe in the last 4 or 5 years, they've really come about, and it's a good thing that we have them, but if they're so new that they're not even in the SAG rules, they're just coming as a recommendation still at this point. And to do it for something like this is, I mean, they were dancing and flirting, and Justin was in character, because as soon as cut is called, you can see him switch to his director hat, and during action, you can see it. It's clear as day that he was being Ryle, and when cut is called, he's back to being Justin and directing. I mean, this is absolutely mind-boggling how they're going to try to twist the truth. I mean, crazy.
It's crazy indeed. But let me just say this. It's either Blake just believed Delulu is Tulu Tulu or Delulu is the Solulu. Because from what we saw, she was giggling. Do you giggle around somebody you are very uncomfortable, or you're comfortable that, or that SH'd you? Do you giggle like that? Because the giggling sounds like somebody who is dancing with their crush. And not just that, it also proves or shows that Justin Baldoni was in character as Raul, while Blake was in character as Blake. We cannot find Lily Bloom there. Except somebody is going to show me Lily Bloom. We cannot find Lily Bloom. Even when the other clip or the other video footage where she was talking about her shoe, they should focus on her shoe. It was Blake Lively. It was not Lily Bloom's. And we cannot find it in this, the entire of the 10 minutes clip, but we can also see Raul and Justin Baldoni. Justin Baldoni acting, being in character as Raul. And then when he moved back to court, he went back to Justin Baldoni as the director. But we don't see Lily Bloom in any of the footage. Please, if you find Lily Bloom, please point her to me. I'm eager to see Lily Bloom in the video footage.
Can we officially cancel Blake Lively right now? The fact that she is saying that the footage that was released today actually proves her point? Like, this is Delulu. TMZ is reporting that Blake Lively is glad that Baldoni's team released that raw footage because she says it only proves her point that she was visibly uncomfortable with Baldoni's advances during the scene. Does Blake Lively know what uncomfortable means or what it actually looks like? Blake's legal team says Justin Baldoni and his lawyer may hope that this latest stunt will get ahead of the damaging evidence against him, but the video itself is damning. Every frame of every released footage corroborates to the letter what Miss Lively described in paragraph 48 of her complaint. Here's a little refresher of paragraph 48, guys. Throughout filming, Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath invaded Miss Lively's privacy by entering her trailer. She was undressed, including while she was breastfeeding. Lively often had to work while breastfeeding, which she felt comfortable doing so long as she was given time and space to cover herself. Mr. Baldoni and Mr. Heath both showed a shocking lack of boundaries by invading her personal space when she was undressed and vulnerable. So basically, they're saying that Justin Baldoni was invading her personal space during filming of this raw footage. Her team continues. The video shows Mr. Baldoni repeatedly leaning in towards Miss Lively, attempting to kiss her, kissing her forehead, rubbing his face and mouth against her neck, flicking her lip with his thumb, caressing her, telling her how good she smells, talking with her out of character. Hey, Blake Lively's team and Blake Lively, he was acting. They needed the footage. They did not need the audio. Actions are being recorded and needed for Lily and Ryle. Her team goes on to point out that none of the intimacy was discussed or choreographed. As they put it, every moment of this was improvised by Mr. Baldoni with no discussion or consent in advance, and no intimacy coordinator present. Mr. Baldoni was not only Miss Lively's co-star, but the director, the head of the studio, and Miss Lively's boss. I don't know if Blake's team is watching the same footage that we're all watching, because her team goes on to say that the video shows Miss Lively leaning away and repeatedly asking for the characters to just talk. Any woman who has been inappropriately touched in the workplace will recognize Miss Lively's discomfort. They will recognize her attempts to levity to try to deflect the unwanted touching. No woman should have to take defensive measures to avoid being touched by their employer without their consent. I'm sorry, is the discomfort in the room with us? Instead of watching this footage and issuing an apology, they're literally saying this footage is proving their point. Hey Blake, you might want to get a new lawyer and a new team because this is not going to end well.
I'm wondering if they saw the exact same footage as us, because if they did, then they would see. Because one, if you're being SH'd, or if you're uncomfortable around somebody, except you're pretending, but if you're uncomfortable around somebody, you don't giggle the way Blake was giggling to Justin Baldoni, or Blake was giggling to Raul in this case, because it was Raul that we see here. And it is called acting for a purpose, because you play pretend. But if she thought that this was real, that means Blake actually fell for Raul and not Justin Baldoni, because she thought Raul was real. She thought he was real. Because make sense. I don't understand the level of delusion, delulu, or gaslighting. Because did we actually watch the exact same footage, or did I miss something? Because I saw the entire 10 minutes clip, and even some part that they cut, that was, I think, 2 minutes. I saw all of it, and I made sure to watch it not once, not two, not three times, more than 4 times, to be sure that I saw what I saw. And I could not find Lily Blooms there. Except somebody saw Lily Blooms. Please point me out to Lily Blooms, because all I see is Raul and Blake, not Raul and Lily Blooms.
Daily Mail links to the YouTube video that Justin Baldoni released of the Blake Lively dance montage. I watched the full 10 minutes, and I tried to watch it from a different perspective this time, from like, is she being sexually harassed? Because just a few minutes ago, her team released a statement saying that the footage shows exactly what they're arguing, is that she was so uncomfortable. I could see that she maybe was uncomfortable because she kept saying, let's talk. And I did see him go down to her neck a couple times. Like Isla679 said, it's that she's an actor, and if this makes her uncomfortable, it just seems very much in line with the scene, in my opinion, after watching the full 10 minutes. I don't think he was trying to cop feels. I don't think he was doing anything other than trying to get what he needed for the film. I think it has more to do with him personally. I do think it's a bit of a conflict of interest in some way to have the director also be the actor, because then there's not somebody refereeing in a way. I don't see SA in the full footage. What do you think? I also want to say I do kind of feel bad for her. I think she believes what she's saying. I think she is uncomfortable with him. I still don't think that makes her right.
She being uncomfortable with him or around him, that means she's not a good actress. She's not the right person for the role. An actor can also be a director. That is the reason why there is assistant director, assistant for a purpose. When the director is not there, the assistant director pushes in, and we can hear the assistant director giving orders, giving scores, you win, and all that. That is the essence of the assistant director. So if she is uncomfortable around him, that means, or uncomfortable in this case, that means she wasn't the right person for the role. Number one, that means she wasn't in character. She is as herself as Blake. And I don't see how we are over analyzing this. It still did not make sense, because the way she was giggling, I wouldn't giggle around somebody that I'm uncomfortable with, or I wouldn't giggle like that around somebody that SH'd me. Make it make sense. And even if, let's say she was uncomfortable, she could have said so, because he was acting and she wasn't acting. And it's evident that, except they saw a different clip, or there's a different clip that we did not see. But if this is the exact same clip, I don't see the reason why they are gaslighting. Let me know what you think.